I was staying at a West End in Atlanta. I stay at hotels a lot, and I generally think of them as being safe places. On the day of this event, I was terribly hungover, so hungover that I could barely get out of bed. But I had a hair appointment that I had already made a 50% deposit on, so I essentially had to pull myself together. I threw up several times before I got there. However, I eventually made it. Afterwards, I threw up on the way back. It was that bad. When I made it back to the hotel, it was between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. It wasn't even nightfall. I got on the elevator to go up to my room, and it was packed with people. I was visibly sick, sweating, and trying to prevent myself from throwing up in a crowded elevator. I could not hold it in long enough to make it to my floor, so I got off at the first chance. I was on my knees puking in a trash can by the elevator before the doors even opened. While puking, I noticed a man hovering behind me. He was well dressed and about 45 to 50. Out of embarrassment, I apologized for throwing up in public between heaves. He said, "I saw you on the elevator, but I didn't realize we were on the same floor." Still puking, I informed him that I wasn't on this floor. He told me he was going to get me some help. Attempting to decline his offer, he just grabbed me by the elbow, pulled me from the ground, and started quickly dragging me down the hall. I was really out of it and didn't understand what was happening. By then, we were nearly halfway down the hall. I quickly realized that housekeeping had gone home for the day. There was no staff or patrons on the floor that I could see. I started getting really loud and he stopped dragging me. Still, he didn't release me, so I kind of had to wiggle away. I ran back to the elevator and got on. Just before the doors closed, he put his arm in and boarded the elevator with me. I pressed the button to my floor, and he got off with me. My room was at the end of the hall. I quickly walked back to my room, got the key to open my door, and tried to close it, only to find that his foot was blocking me from doing so. A small struggle that lasted about 8 seconds ensued. I eventually was able to close the door and put the security latch on it. Then I slid to the floor and started crying. Who was this man? Why was he doing this? If he wanted to help me, then why didn't he? What was he trying to do? I don't know, but I certainly hope that we never meet again. This story extends from 8th grade middle school to my freshman year in college. I'm 24 years old now, so this must have began in 2008. I was raised in a Korean household with strong Christian beliefs. Every summer and winter, there would be a youth retreat where all of the teens in our church would go to one big joint retreat with counselors and teenagers from churches in and out of the state. I met my best friend, Hannah, there. She was from Philly and had a pastor who was white, who we called Pastor Allen. After these retreats, everyone would add each other on Facebook and keep in touch. I remember a day or two after the 2008 summer retreat, Pastor Allen would often reach out and ask how my talk with God was going since the retreat, and if I ever need someone to speak to, I could always confide in him. This didn't alarm me at the time because counselors would keep in touch all the time. I always kept our conversations brief considering the fact I was shy and timid. Over the years, I had seen Pastor Allen at retreats, and was friendly with him. Nothing strange happened, other than his persistence with keeping in touch with me on Facebook. After retreats, I slowly stopped talking to him, and eventually, we didn't speak at all. This is where it all starts to get weird. One day, after our summer retreat in 2011, I got a friend request from a woman named Sumiko. I noticed we had a lot of mutual friends from the retreat, so I assumed she was a counselor there. She messaged me immediately after I accepted the request. Her and I became quickly acquainted. At the time, I was 15, and she was everything I needed and an older sister. Although we never met, I let my naivety get the best of me and confided in her about my teenage girl troubles. After months in, I remember walking into church and asking one of my youth leaders if they had met her at the retreat. He said he had never heard of her. I asked him if he could go check the roster, and he did, only to find out there was no Sumiko on the list. That's when things started to get super eerie for me. I panicked and went home to block Sumiko off of my Facebook. I saw on her page that the only person who continued to tell her it was nice seeing her was Pastor Allen. No one else from the retreat seemed to really be interacting with her. It all started to freak me out. I blocked her and unfriended Pastor Allen. I remember no longer attending these church retreats. A few days later, I received an email telling me that Sumiko decided to attempt suicide because of me, and that the email was coming from the mental hospital she was staying at. They told me it was all my fault. I was a junior in high school under high amounts of stress from SATs, and I deleted the email because I just wanted to forget about it all and focus on studying. Shortly after, I started to receive really unfriendly anonymous messages on my Tumblr. They would tell me that I was going to burn in hell for eternity if I continued to stray from God. They continued all the way into my senior year in high school. I always deleted and ignored them, or I'd reply sarcastically and laugh at them with my friends. Eventually, the messages faded and I didn't hear much from them anymore. In 2012, I got accepted to a close-by Christian college and moved into my dorm. My dorm floor decided to have a little icebreaker meeting to help us get comfortable. I met another Korean girl and began talking about our similarities in our childhood being raised Korean with Christian parents. I opened up to her about the encounter with Pastor Allen, and midway through the story, I saw her face slowly dropping and getting pale. She told me she had a very similar encounter with a pastor she knew, and that he was also a white man working with the youth in an all-Korean church. I asked her where she was from, and she replied with the same state that Pastor Allen was from. She then asked me if the name of the pastor was Pastor Allen. We had the same predator in our lives at the same age. I'm not sure where Pastor Allen is now, but I pray to God that he has not harmed any little Korean girls. It's absolutely disgusting. He was borderline 60 years old when I was 14 or 15. It makes me sick knowing people prey on children in the most vulnerable ways. It ruined a lot about my perspective on Christianity as well. It's horrible to take something so spiritual and take advantage of a child with it. So Pastor Allen, with a creepy young Asian girl fetish, let's never ever meet again. There is a girl that has been stalking and harassing me since October 2018. We were in the same class in high school 6 years ago. She was super shy, never spoke in class, and barely had any friends. I can't remember speaking to her more than once or twice through all of high school. To me, she did not even exist. Then, all of a sudden, many months ago, I woke up to a message in my Facebook inbox that read, "Fuck white people." She is Asian. From what country, I do not know. I thought this was really strange, so I tried to reply back, "What's going on?" But she had blocked my messages. I decided to just ignore it and go on with my life. About a month had passed, and I woke up to yet another message in my inbox. She had sent me a screenshot of an Instagram account in my name. No posts or followers, just an empty account with my name. I kind of freaked out a little and tried to reply, but yet again she had blocked my messages. I tried to find the account on Instagram, but could not. My name is very uncommon, so the possibilities that this was another guy's account was very slim. It certainly wasn't my account. I was very confused and kinda scared that she had created an account with my name and would post things pretending to be me. I contacted one of her high school friends and asked if she could deliver a message for me since I had no way of reaching her. To my surprise, they weren't friends anymore and hadn't spoken in months. I told my closest friends about what had been happening. They told me that they received some strange messages too. I was seriously confused by this point. This one girl nobody talked to or had any kind of relationship with was sending pictures on Instagram accounts, weird memes, and 3-word sentences that made 0 sense to me and many of my friends. I tried to think of why she did this. Had we treated her badly at some point? But I could not think of anything that we had done. I remember giving her a piece of gum one day, but that is about as close to any communication that happened between us. I decided I would just try to ignore her and hope she would not send me any more messages. But then, around Christmas time, I woke up to my Facebook exploding with notifications and messages. I think I had around a good 100+ notifications. She had been sharing all of my profile pictures and posts. I am seriously freaking out at this point and opened Messenger. I have received 56 messages that all read, "Kill yourself." I tried to message her again, but surprise, surprise, she had blocked my messages. I was becoming really angry at this point. I clicked on her Facebook profile to block her and get rid of her for good. Before I went to block her, I scrolled down her wall, and she had been sharing literally hundreds of posts and pictures of me, my friends, and some other people I had no idea who they were. I did some detective work and found her sister's Facebook profile and decided to send her a message. I took screenshots of everything she had done and sent it to her, asking why she was doing this. She freaked out when she saw what her crazy stalker sister had done. The stalker had deleted her sister on Facebook because of an argument they had around October when this all started. So she hadn't seen anything she had done. She promised me she would talk to her crazy stalker sister and make her stop. I received a message from the sister a few hours later that she had talked to the stalker and promised she would stop, and she apologized. I was so happy this finally would be over and thanked her. Another few months passes. We are now in February 2019. I hadn't received any messages since I talked to her sister, and I had honestly forgot about everything that had happened. 2 days ago, I was playing some games with my friends on my PC, talking on Discord. My phone was on the table, and I saw it lit up once. I had received a notification. I wouldn't bother to check it before the game was done. A few seconds after, I get another one, and another one. I could see my phone in the corner of my eye. Notifications came swarming in. Then I remember the crazy stalker girl, and got a really awful feeling in my stomach. Praying this wasn't her again, I stopped playing and picked up the phone. Notifications still swarming in. The stalker was sharing my pictures and posts yet again. And all had a caption like, "Kill yourself," or "I hope you die." I instantly blocked her. A few minutes later, it happened again. Someone with another username was sharing my pictures. I blocked the account instantly. She had created at least 10 accounts, and I was desperately blocking all of them as fast as I could as soon as I saw a notification. I sent her sister a message again and told her I was going to report this to the police if she wouldn't stop. She told me she would talk to her. Angry, confused, and kinda scared, I went back to the gaming session, talking to my friends about it. I went to sleep a few hours later. I woke up late the next day. It was hard to sleep after thinking about all that was happening. My cousin had received some messages from my crazy stalker. She had told him that I owed her money. I kept my calm and told him about everything and said that he should just go with it. I wanted to see where this was going. She thought my cousin was my father. He was a lot older than me, so I could see why she would think that. They had a long conversation where she claimed that I had both stolen and hacked her phone and lent money from her, and that I was the reason she lost her scholarship and had to move. She said I owed her $10,000, which later became $50,000, and then again she raised the amount to $100,000 later in the conversation. All of this is, of course, a crazy lie. I'm so confused of why she is doing this to me. I have no idea what I have done to her, and I'm going to report this to the police tomorrow. I'm really fucking scared of what she might accuse me of next, or if she is going to show up on my doorstep one day. All of this happening 6 years after the last time I saw her. So I just came back home after talking with the police. They told me I had a strong case and could press charges if I wanted to. I decided not to do it for now. I don't want to make it harder than it has to be. I will give her one last chance to stop. They will call her today and tell her to stop or face charges. Any further contact with me or my family will cause her to see consequences. Either way, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get her a restraining order if she doesn't comply. I would also like to add that I do not think she is a violent person, and she has never threatened my life directly, nor have I ever feared for my life. This plays a huge part of why I did not press charges. I firmly believe that something terrible has happened to her within the last year, and that she is really sick and in need of help. Her family know about the situation, and it's up to them or the authorities to make sure she gets help if she needs it. What bothered me the most about this whole situation was the false accusations, and not the sharing of pictures and messages itself. I am happy with my decision, and I hope I have made the right call. Alright, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching.